Well, you guys, I'm super excited to revisit again homemade dog food. I have done this like 5 times, given up, tried it again, given up, tried it again, given up throughout the last 20 years. And I think that I'm finally going to stick with it. And this is why. It has finally been made simple for me. I don't like the videos of all the people cooking in huge bulk for 3 hours on their Saturday and then having a total separate freezer for their dog food for a month or 2 weeks or whatever. I don't have enough space for that. I don't want to make the time for that. I don't want to buy upfront in bulk like that. It's just costly. If you do that, if that works for you, awesome. I am in my kitchen so often that it's actually easier and simpler for me to make their bowls on the spot. So I am thrilled that I have revisited not just homemade dog food, but as much raw as possible. So I still have a lot to learn, but I feel like no matter how you slice it, Kibble is never going to measure up to real food. Just think of that with me logically for a minute. Kibble, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry for dogs, cats, pet food. It is never as good as real food. That's already just logically, we can agree on that, I hope. Then the multi-billion-dollar industry controls you with fear that you're gonna have an unbalanced diet for your dog or your cat, and you're gonna hurt them and mess them up if you don't have this perfect balanced diet. That's not 100% false, but I do think that people freak out. I was one of them. And then just say, forget it. I just have to do Kibble because I don't have the mental capacity right now in this season of my life, the mental space, the time to research, study, and make sure I'm doing things right. And then to put forth the effort and the time to make sure I'm doing it right. It just was not the season for me. But I really think that there's a deliberate tactic behind that, because fear is really, really the easiest way to control a person, right? So you just always go back to the Kibble, the trusty old Kibble. We don't need to talk about what's in Kibble, but it's not good. It's pretty much carbs, like over half of the diet. Even if it's a high protein Kibble, it's more than half carbs, or very, very high carbs and nowhere near enough protein. Protein should be at least 70% for a dog. I don't know about cat stuff. And carbs can be 0, or I would say no more than 10 to 15%. But I'm gonna do 0. Not every single meal, every single day, but I am so excited that I'm not scared anymore. I don't need to buy a million supplements. I'm literally just still cooking turkey like I always have cooked for the dogs. Sometimes I give it to them raw. Sometimes I cook it, just lightly cook it. So I'm using a scale. I've calculated 2 to 3% of their ideal body weight. I'm doing 2%. No, I'm doing 2.5% of their ideal body weight. And I am giving them 70% muscle meat, 10% fruits and veggies, 10% organ and bone and stuff like that. If I have a carb, like leftover potatoes or sweet potatoes or a little bit of rice or oats from a meal, I will give it to them. If I've got some leftover berries or apples or carrot tops or whatever that I chopped up, where I used to just give everything to the chickens, now I'm thinking, oh, I can give this to the dogs too. So they're getting scraps, yes, but they are not just being thrown together haphazardly. I am calculating the scraps to make sense with their bowl. So I am waiting on a book by Dr. Becker that's going to give me a few more ideas for different recipes. But for now, for the last like 3 or 4 days, what I've been doing is I have given them raw food a few times, but I'm doing right now, today, I have some cooked turkey. I also have some ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey, which I will give them raw. I have canned salmon, which I won't give every day. I put an egg in every single day, a soft boiled egg, because the raw yolk is really beneficial. and the, sorry, I'm getting my foil. And then instead of ordering a calcium supplement, I'm just baking my eggshells like I do anyway for my chickens, grinding it up into powder and saving some for the dogs. And then I'm giving them bones. They could be raw bones preferably, but right now I just give them the bones from my bone broth leftovers. So it's not perfect according to the experts, but it's way better than kibble if you think about it. And so I'm sure I'll be doing more videos about this, but today I just wanted to share with you that I'm starting this venture and show you the meal I'm gonna prepare for them right now. It's 5:10, so I'm gonna feed them. I don't have any examples of things I've held on. Well, I strained some Greek yogurt yesterday, so I saved the whey. They're not gonna have all of it, but I thought I could give them a few spoonfuls of that over their food as a topper. I saved the oats from breakfast, which just have cinnamon in them, which is great for anti-inflammatory properties. I'm not giving them all that oatmeal. I'm gonna give them maybe a quarter cup each and then the rest to the chickens, or I could save it for them for tomorrow's morning's breakfast. I've got my leftover chicken bones and a little bit of chicken meat from making bone broth. I've got some beef broth left over from a roast I made the other day with no seasoning. And then I've got just a little bit of ground turkey left. So what I'll do is I'll get my scale that I use for sourdough all the time. I didn't have to buy anything. I do it organic as much as I can. Whatever's not organic, I just, can only do what I can. They haven't been eating organic. They've been eating highly processed, dry, leftover, weird pieces of meat for the last 3 years. And I've always tried to top it with something yummy for them, like the ground turkey and a little turmeric, bone broth when I can, some bones when I can. But all this time, I could have just omitted the kibble and done the food. And it's not as complicated as they make it seem. And I am covering all the bases. I'm not falling short on any of the needed dietary requirements. And I was going to actually put half a can of sardines in there. I found sardines in water for $1 a can at Kroger. So I got 10 of them. So 1 can will be enough for both of them. And I'll just do half for each puppy. So my dogs have been overweight for so long. That's another reason I really needed to do something fast. I've never had overweight dogs. Apparently labs are more susceptible to it, but also all the carbs in their food. And so it's been really hard to get them to trim down. This has made it more hopeful for me. We'll see how it is in a few months. But that's another reason I really needed to do something, because I want them to feel good and have longevity. So their ideal weight is 75 pounds. And so I'm feeding them according to that ideal weight. So this is 2.5% of 75 pounds is the bowl is 12 ounces of food. So I'm gonna do 8 ounces of the ground turkey, and then I'll do like 1.5 ounces of some of the other more bulky things, the egg, and then the toppers, and that should add up to 12 ounces. If it doesn't, I'll add a little more turkey meat and bone broth for the protein, because I don't want to add more carbs or more unnecessary toppers. But this covers all the groundwork. The turkey is the muscle meat. The eggs are more protein, iodine in the egg yolk. The sunflower, the fiber is going to be all the veggies, as well as I'm going to add some flax seeds that I need to grind up. The omegas are going to be the sunflower oil and the sardines. And the calcium is going to be the bones and the eggshells. Then there's going to be vitamin D in the fish, the sardines, as well as the yolks. There's going to be minerals in all the protein meat, flax seeds, spinach, which I usually do spinach. You could do kale as well. And so all my ground is covered, and I just want to I've been easing them into some of these things. Today I'm gonna add a little flaxseed, which will be the first time. I'm just gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon and ease them into that. And then the extra things I put, the yogurt, that's just more probiotics and just a yummy treat. The turmeric is great for anti-inflammation, which my dogs seem to have joint problems. The bone broth is great for their gut and again, inflammation. So all these things will hopefully work together like a beautiful symphony in their bodies and begin to help them to feel better and lose some weight and be in a little bit less discomfort with their joints. I don't usually do the oats, like I said, but today, since I have leftovers, I'm just gonna use a little bit, a little 1/4 cup, because there is some value to it. It's not just deplete of nutrients, but I'm not gonna do a lot. Maybe a 1/4 cup or an 1/8 of a cup as a little filler. And that covers all of the requirements for their meals. So this is why I feel so excited, because I don't feel this weight of I have to order all these supplements and spend all this money. All I'm doing different is grabbing all the things I usually have for them and putting them together at once in a bowl versus the kibble and turkey or kibble and bones or kibble and bone broth or kibble and a boiled egg. Instead, I'm doing all of it in smaller quantities so that it can be a complete meal. So it's very doable, and my dogs are big. So if you have small dogs and cats, you have even more of a realistic opportunity here, because especially if you want to do raw or no carbs, it's going to be, I honestly, so far I haven't used more meat than I usually do. So I think I may have been overfeeding them, but I just wanted them to have something yummy on top of their kibble. So I'm going to be feeding them that meat anyway. I might as well stop paying for the kibble and buy sunflower oil, which I didn't buy before, and start, saving scraps for the dogs too, not just the chickens. So I'm super, super excited. I am going to share many more recipes as I learn more and experiment more. But for now, let's do this one together. This is the first time I'm doing oats. This is the first time I'm doing sardines, and everything else I've done already. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna talk as I assemble this. Oh, I didn't even go get the bowls yet. Duh. Okay, here we go. So I already had my scale for my sourdough, so I put my bowl on first, so it's at 0 right now. And now I just start adding my ingredients. I'm gonna do 8 ounces of ground turkey. I have been doing 6, but I was doing a little extra research this morning, and I think 8 is more appropriate. I'm gonna do 7 because I think I'm gonna shorten. I'm not gonna have enough for Dash. So these bones, they're pressure cooked, so it's not ideal. Raw is better, but if you crunch them up real good, they're fine. And I've been looking at their poop every day, and they seem fine. I'll add a little extra meat with the chicken until I get to 9.5 ounces, because that's gonna cover the muscle meat and the bones. And the nice thing is, if I don't do sardines one meal, that's okay, because I've got the sunflower oil. And if I don't do chicken, if I don't do bones one meal, that's okay, because I could do the eggshells. It's nice to have backups so that I don't feel like I have to have all of this at all times, because I only have these bones when I make what's it called, bone broth. 1 egg. They have too much food in there now, so I'm gonna take a little bit out. I want to make them lose weight, not gain weight. So I'm going for 12 ounces. And honestly, if I can't fit everything that I want to fit in here, I may just omit the oats, because I don't want to do the oats if it's going to mess with the rest of the good stuff I have set up for them. So that's the bulk of the meat and omegas and protein. I gotta cut up the veggies, so I'm gonna wash my hands. Somebody knows it's dinner time, sweet boy. They have been loving their food. So what I like to do is put the spinach on first until it's the right weight, and then cut it up real little with the scissors. And once it's all mixed in with the meat and all the wet stuff, they eat the spinach with no problem. It's okay that it's like not tiny, fine pieces of veggies. I think I might omit my carrot idea too, because once I added the sardines in there and the egg, I don't want to go over 12 ounces. And I'm definitely gonna omit the carbs. I saved those oats just to be creative, but I may just stick with 0 carbs for this meal, which honestly is better. So there's that. Now I will do a little bone broth for extra protein and really good gut health. A little bit of sunflower oil, like barely any. A little bit of flax seeds. I just ground these. A little bit of turmeric. I'm out of pepper, but normally I would add a little pinch of pepper just to activate the turmeric. And I was gonna do a little bit of carrot, but I think this is perfect. And I'll put the yogurt on after I mix it up. This is also the egg yolk, I may have said, provides a good source of iodine. Some people put kelp powder, which I have some for the chickens, so I might add that at some point. Some people put seaweed, and I have that, so I might add that at some point. So I just am so happy. Like, look at all this healthy, real food that my sweet boys are eating, and I didn't spend any extra money than I normally would. So I don't know what I've been doing all these years, but I am thrilled. I really hope that you guys will not feel scared of making your animals food. I don't know why I've been so scared all these years, but I gotta say, it doesn't have to be hard and complicated and intimidating, which as I get older, seems like everything is made to seem like it's so hard and complicated and you have to be this special kind of person to achieve it. People need to do better at making things duplicatable. Things are not that so hard that only a certain kind of person can do it well. Anybody could do this. You just have to be shown like, oh, you just need meat and protein and a couple of food items that you could easily buy for very affordable stuff you already eat. Save your scraps, make sure you're measuring it correctly, and that's it. Yes, that's it. It really is just that. And like I said, I'll share more recipes in the weeks to come. I hope this excites you and inspires you, and I would love any tips, ideas, thoughts in the comments below. I ordered some organic sunflower oil because this one's not. I ordered some organic hemp seed oil and this little seaweed powder of a trio blend. I think it's like kelp, seaweed, and something else, just to be able to add that too. I ordered my organic pepper, which is on the way. And so everything else I already had. So it's pretty incredible. And everything else that I was already doing for my chickens, I just did it for the dogs too. So yay. And I didn't even have to use the oats. That's amazing. Try to make homemade dog food, maybe. If you want to, if it works for you and your family. God bless you guys and see you next time.